Welcome to the first podcast from Nerdcast. I'm Eugene. I'm going solo today for a little small review. We're going to look at the first two issues of Secret War, along with tie-in issues for Planet Hulk, Infinity Gauntlet, and Old Man Logan.
What happened?
Let me preface this review by saying I have not been reading much Marvel. I've been limited to pretty much Deadpool. I haven't picked up an Avenger issue since 15, and I haven't followed the Ultimate Universe in years. So I didn't know what Hickman was doing leading up to this story, nor did I know anything about the maker being Reed Richards and the Cabal and what they were doing. So the issue starts with Doom, Strange, and Molecule Man with the Beyonders, but you don't really see much other than they're the Beyonders. I'm guessing that this ties into the previous stuff, so I was kind of lost on it. We get to the 1610 universe, the Ultimate Universe, preparing to battle the 616 universe. They're the last two left. The two Manhattans are about to overlap each other. We see lots of heroes die. I'm guessing the Beyonders going to bring them back later on at the end of the series and create this new Marvel Universe, but we'll get to that later. I didn't care for the Kingpin story, him emailing other villains to come to the bar to watch the end of the world. It just didn't seem very in character for him, especially after what was done on the Netflix Daredevil show, where that became like the ultimate Kingpin. It was kind of funny to see the Punisher show up, though, as he somehow either intercepted the email or maybe he sent it in trying to get everyone together. I don't know, but that would have been funny. So, Reed Richards has this plan to take the greatest minds of the planet off planet, so when it is destroyed, the human race can survive. But those smart minds are killed on the way to the shuttle, so Reed starts plucking different heroes to take. It was interesting to see what happens when the shuttle splits off and Sue, Thing, and Human Torch are all stuck in the other part of the shuttle with the kids, and it's ultimately destroyed, and how distraught it makes Reed. But like I said, they're going to be back at the end of the series when the Beyonders bring everyone back. Overall, I thought the writing was pretty good, even though I was lost. It did seem a little hard to follow at times, but I chalked that up to the fact that I didn't know what I was getting into reading the first issue. The art was amazing. I love Ribick's art here, and look forward to seeing more of his stuff when the new Marvel Universe comes about. So issue 2, we jump into Battle World. Again, I felt kind of lost because it just kind of took off, but once you get into it, it starts explaining itself pretty well. Seeing the Thor corpse was pretty cool. I liked seeing some of these other characters pop up in the background, like Beta Ray Bill and Groot as members of the Thor corps. Using the new Thor as a focal piece to kind of introduce everything of Battle World was a good way to do it. I liked seeing Sinister show up. Sinister was awesome. The way he just talked down to everybody, the little quips he had, it's the best written Sinister we've seen in a while. So hats off to Hickman for that. He's been kind of an underutilized villain for a while. There were good introductions to different kingdoms at the trials. It was fun to see some of these different realities coming together and being in the same spot. Finding out who's working with who, where the different struggles are at. So I felt like we have a good grasp of what's going to happen coming into all these little mini-series. It was also pretty interesting to see Galactus is kind of part of the Doomstat environment. Seeing the stuff with the Cabal at the end, I was a little lost with that. I'm guessing they can get to the underside of Battleworld through this lake. It's got the Fantastic Four children. But I did like seeing the Cabal come in because, they're going to be causing a lot of problems, and this is probably what's going to pull everything together. Again, the story was pretty strong, and the art from Rib was amazing. So the big reason I've been reading Secret Wars is because of Old Man Logan. It was one of my favorite Wolverine stories the last 15 years. It was original. Man, it just kicked right off. It seemed like almost from the last story. I love seeing Vegas. The Vegas scene was very cool, especially with the Warpath boxing poster. I thought that was a nice little shout out. I didn't know much about Gladiator. He just seemed kind of like a chump. He went down pretty easily once Logan showed up there. I also didn't like all of his henchmen being dressed up as Daredevil. It made it confusing in the action scene. It almost seemed like Wolverine was just beating up one guy the whole time, but it was actually multiple henchmen. Was surprised to see Logan drinking soda instead of beer, but I could have been chalked up to the environment because who knows what they have in this area. I did like the sub-story with Gladiator's son, though. It'd be fun down the line to have a story of him showing up and trying to get revenge on Logan, but I doubt we'll ever get that far into the storyline to see it come back. When the Ultron head showed up, I was a little confused by that, because at times it looked like Ant-Man's helmet, and at times it looked like Iron Man, but they did explain that a little bit more later on. When Logan got home and was talking to Danny, I thought it was Danny Moonstar, not Luke Cage's and Jessica Jones's kid. It was a nice little throw out to them, though, since there's very few heroes left, and she's a legacy character, I guess. The Emma Frost stuff was a little confusing. I like the idea of the Punisher gang, but I guess she was dying the whole time and made Logan see that she wasn't. I mean, he could tell that she wasn't Jean Grey when he walked in, and that she was obviously doing stuff to his head, but he couldn't tell that she was dying the whole time. It just didn't make sense to me. The story also didn't say what region Logan was going to after he left Hammer Falls. He just climbed the wall. Makes me want to have the map of Battleworld in there every time, so it would have been a little easier to pinpoint, but I guess I can go online and find that. Overall, I thought it was a solid story from Bendis, and I really liked the art from Andrea Sorrentino. It was very gritty and fitting for the series, kind of what I expected from the last Old Man Logan based off that art. Next up was the Infinity Gauntlet. Didn't really say where this one was taking place like it did for Old Man Logan. I'm guessing it's one of the Manhattans, but it starts with this family. The focus of it is Anwin, the oldest daughter. And basically we see her sister, her father, and her grandfather. The mother's not around. She was a Nova, and she left to fight these giant bugs. Didn't really go into too much of that, but eventually, in the middle of a family dispute, the bugs show up and attack them. The family scatters. In the midst of it all, Anwin finds an Infinity Gem. I guess she wishes for her mother to be back, and all of a sudden her mother comes in and saves the day. The only tie to the Infinity Gauntlet series besides that one gem is Thanos is sitting there in the shadows watching it all with his own Infinity Gem. I was pretty disappointed in this story. I was expecting more of it from the original Infinity Gauntlet to somehow tie into it based off what we saw with Old Man Logan. But I'm going to stick with it. We'll see where it goes. I'm a Jerry Dugan fan, so it's definitely going to buy it time with him on there. I haven't read anything from Dustin Weaver, though, so I don't know what to expect. The art was decent. It could have been better. it's not, but art doesn't really impact my taste on the story unless it's like really bad. The dad did look like Michael from Lost to me, though. The final issue I read was Planet Hulk. So what we know from the beginning is it takes place in Greenland. It's ruled by Red Hawk. All the inhabitants are gamma-infused Hulks, and they don't like the Thors based off the battle early on in the story. After that, it jumps to the Coliseum, where we see Captain America winning the Battle Royale. He's partnered up with Devil Dinosaur. It makes for an interesting combo. The story is told from Cap's perspective, his thoughts, and it's also told from the TV feed, but it's the behind the camera stuff, seeing him telling him jump to this camera, get the crowd reaction. So it made for an interesting touch. I also like the fact that they brought on Arcade as the runner of the Coliseum. It fits with his persona pretty well. Cap takes Arcade inside the dinosaur's mouth and tries to find out where Bucky's at. To me, it came off as a little bit of the end of Winter Soldier, where Cap's mission is to find his former partner. So he's taken to Doom for trying this. Doom wants him to go to Greenland to kill Red Hulk. They said Bucky's there. Bucky was the previous one to try to do it, and he failed. So if Cap can kill Red Hawk, he can get Bucky back too. Thought it was weird that they did a flashback of Captain America and Bucky fighting, but it wasn't really Bucky, it was the Winter Soldier. So I started to get me to question what happened previously, that the two of them would be fighting as Captain America and Winter Soldier. Hopefully we'll get more of that backstory. So when Captain America and Devil Dinosaur teleported to Greenland, they have to fight these gamma-infused insects, and they're ended up saved by a Hulk, which I'm guessing is Bruce Banner, but they never really imply. Overall, a solid story to start out, so again, I'll give it time, we'll see. It didn't really tie into Planet Hulk too much, other than the fact that Captain America was fighting in a Coliseum. Mark Laming's art was pretty strong, so at least had that going for it. Again, I'll give it a couple more issues and see what I think. After reading these 5, I'm curious to see how some of the other tie-in series are going to be. I'm going to go ahead and pick up all of them, and I'll keep reviewing them. I'm also curious to see how these different characters are going to end up surviving Battle World and moving on to this new Marvel universe. I mean, we've already been told Miles Morales is going into the 616 universe, and I'm guessing the Marvel multiverse is probably going to be consolidated, maybe renumbered, I don't know. But it's going to give us something to look forward to. Hopefully they bring back some of the characters they killed in the first Secret War issue, and they'll bring back Wolverine. It's been a while since we've seen some good Wolverine stories, and Old Man Logan is just going to tease us, I think. Hopefully the next time you hear me, we'll be talking with Toner and Matt on a few different topics. The goal is to start getting these podcasts up on a regular basis and getting different perspectives on comics, movies, everything in pulp culture. They'll also be doing their own solo podcast too, so we'll be having some good content come out soon.